2025. Like Delhi has breathed this good quality air for last 8 months, we want this festival season to remain in the same parameter. There is a difference between illegal green cracker or illegal crackers and the green cracker. See, the green crackers technology was developed by CSI NERI, which has less pollution, which has less noise. But what you talked of is they are the just the fake green crackers. We want to regulate. Last year also there was a ban on the crackers. Still, people burst because in the festival of Diwali, people burst. They don't just obey. It is an admitted fact. So we want to regulate. We want to reduce the pollution so that if the license and the legal crackers, which are the green and which the technology established by CSR and NERI are available in the market, so the people, there will be less pollution, there will be less noise. Okay. And we will abide by the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court. The Chief Minister has rightly mentioned that the government will be requesting to the Honorable Supreme Court to allow whatever will be the decision of the Honorable Supreme Court, the Delhi government will obey and will apply that decision.
Before I bring in Siddharth from the Aam Aadmi Party, Vimlendu, is this a good idea? We don't know what the Supreme Court will say. As things stand, all crackers are banned. Green crackers can be manufactured, but they cannot be sold and used in the National Capital Region and a few states around it. But what do you think of Rekha Gupta's move to try and get green crackers banned? She says faith and anti-pollution should go hand in hand.
So two things before I answer that question. So Shiv, first of all, we need to understand that the ban on firecrackers is not only for Diwali, it's 365 days. Yeah. And therefore that ban exists for a Bakrid, for a Eid, for a Christmas, for a New Year, and also for Diwali, because the right to breathe, or if our children or our elderly need to breathe fresh air, they need to breathe fresh air 365 days. That's point number one. Point number two, when you said that Delhi perhaps has breathed better than previous years, and those satisfactory air days that we're talking about, I think let's talk scientifically. I think the days that Delhi's air has become better or satisfactory has been good rain days. And I don't think Rekha Gupta contributed in bringing the rain. As in for you and I to believe that the Western disturbance in the rain that we had this morning is because of doing of our governance is something really, really stretching and really crediting the government for something that they really have not done. Indeed, perhaps they might have done something better. We still have to see the result. The worst of the time of pollution hasn't come. All of us know that October to January is the worst time. And this is not just in terms of, because of firecrackers alone, because of stubble burning. So there are episodic sources. And there's also geographical disadvantage in terms of weather conditions. Yeah. We talk about wind speed, we talk about high moisture, we talk about cold winter arriving. And therefore, we need to be extra careful. If you look at all the hearings that have taken place in the Supreme Court, all the submissions since 2019 till 2025 right now, there's been enough data that's been put forth to the Supreme Court to say that there's nothing called green cracker. It's an oxymoron. As in 30% reduction is what it promises. And as you rightly said, that we don't even, just because the color of a firecracker is green, that doesn't make it green, because most firecrackers are green in color.
No, I agree with you.
That doesn't mean they're eco-friendly. And
Vimlendu, I agree with the point you're making. I wasn't crediting the Delhi government with it, but the numbers we have suggest that things have improved somewhat this year. You're right. Full credit will come over the next few months when we see what happens.
Absolutely. So the pollution month hasn't come as yet.
No.
Pollution month hasn't. And the same claim, by the way,
only the comparable metrics
given by
Aam
Aadmi Party. Arvind Kejriwal did the same thing when he actually put half-page ads when the Delhi's air became satisfactory, and it was because of the rain. So, we are too early, and right now the kind of crisis...
Noted. Good point.
That's the data point.
Fair point.
Just last month, we had a data point with regard to life expectancy, with regard to every third child having asthma.
Fair point. Let me bring in Siddharth. Siddharth, you've heard what Dr. Anil Kumar Gupta has said about this, that this is a very considered view that has been taken. How would you respond to that? Do you think this is a good decision so far? The pollution plank was a very big one during the election that your party lost earlier this year.
Well, Shiv, plank or no plank, as a Delhiite, even if I get one extra day or one day for whatever reason, if I get a good breathing air, I would thank my staff as well as anybody concerned with it. And most of all, we'll have to give credit to the people of Delhi, because unless the people of Delhi start cooperating, you don't get these kind of results. And of course, the geographical factors and the weather patterns that Chaji said are also very important. Now, as far as this issue is concerned regarding the green crackers, a government is like a doctor. It is supposed to take care of people scientifically while also keeping in mind the tolerance of the people or the patients. At present, as you rightly said, sale and bursting of all firecrackers, including green firecrackers, are banned not only in Delhi but also in NCR of UP, Haryana, and Rajasthan. Last year, taking note of unprecedented pollution, the Supreme Court introduced a year round ban of bursting, manufacturing, storage, sale, and purchase of all kinds of firecrackers in Delhi, not just in Delhi, but NCR also. Now, we hope the BJP government won't proffer some lame argument in the Supreme Court in its petition, and rather BJP's appeal to Supreme Court is well drafted, considering Pradhan ji has already committed 1 billion tons of carbon emission cut in the Glasgow COP summit. Now, as far as Aam Aadmi parties of Delhi, Aam Aadmi of Delhi are concerned, unlike the BJP ecosystem that indulges in Paduka Prahar insult of the judiciary like they did yesterday, Aam Aadmi Party will wait for and respect the Supreme Court's verdict on patakas in Delhi. We are very clear about that.
Okay, Dr. Gupta, would you like to respond to what both Viblendu and Siddharth Yadav of the Aam Aadmi Party have said? Siddharth Yadav says, why not just respect what the Supreme Court has done in the face of emergency level pollution, which, happened under the previous government, and the BJP used to bash the AAP government justifiably for it. But how would you respond to both these contentions against the Rekha government's decision?
See, we have a full faith in Supreme Court. Whatever will be the verdict of the Honorable Supreme Court, the Delhi government will obey that and will implement that. That is confirmed. The Honorable Chief Minister has mentioned that Delhi government will be requesting. There are 2-3 points for this. Last year also, the government could not stop busting of this illegal or unauthorized crackers. I remember on the 31st of October and 1st November 2024, daytime the AQI was 300, but suddenly in the midnight it sparked to more than 800.
Yeah.
So are we able to fully stop? And one more thing about Mr. Jha, green crackers or the legal green crackers, CSIR NEERI has developed a technology wherein they have mentioned 3 types of green crackers.
But how will that be enforced? Dr. Gupta, the question is also enforcement, sir. Enforcement kaise karoge?
This is what I'm telling you. See, there is lot of infiltration of the crackers. I mean, it is a fact that last year, the last Aam Aadmi Party government or the Congress government could not stop. And people have a faith. This is a custom in Diwali. With all the forces, the busting of crackers could not be stopped. So we need a solution. The custom prevails. The Diwali ceremony place, if the Honorable Supreme Court allowed, and as per the established technology of the green, Honorable Supreme Court has allowed the manufacturing of the green crackers.
Yeah, but not
the same technology. If that is allowed, then we will accept and we will implement. Otherwise, Delhi is such a vast, is a population of more than 3 crores.
Let me get a response on that, sir. Vimlendu, is there an argument to be made on this saying that ban to hai, but people are bursting in record numbers like it was last year. So why not ask for it to be unbanned and regulate it? Because this ban doesn't seem to be that effective in the first place.
So no doubt, Shiv, I think it's also the responsibility of the citizenry when they agitate about bad air. Suddenly on the day of Diwali, they think that right to bad air or right to clean air is not as important as perhaps their faith. And suddenly, the idea of a Fulhari and faith comes. As in, we need to understand that customs, yes, faith, yes, nobody is against custom. But one can argue that no one was bursting these chemical firecrackers 100 years ago or 200 years ago or 400 years ago. This is primarily a factory, a whole lobby that pushes toxic, poisonous, sulfur, barium, lead firecrackers that we're talking about. We need to regulate. I'm not saying that we don't want people to celebrate, but I think when you are in ICU, when your entire city is in ICU, when every third child has asthma, when your life expectancy is going down by 10 to 12 years, when you have all that data points staring at you, then the cry of a child, or right to breathe or right to life, is that more important, or right to worship and or right to your imagined understanding of custom and faith is more important?
Yeah.
Nobody is against celebration of Diwali. We should all celebrate Diwali, but should we do it at the cost of our children's lungs is what my issue is. And I think rightly so. By the way, all the studies that are talking about 30% reduction,
Yeah.
even Needy talks about 30% reduction. But imagine 5 firecrackers versus 500 green firecrackers that you
Dr. Gupta
blast.
wants to
More
respond to you.
green firecrackers, because
Dr.
small thing makes it 20 to 30 times worse.
Okay,
The air
okay.
quality by WHO standards.
Point made, Vimlendu. Dr. Gupta wants to respond to you. Yes, sir, go ahead.
See, we have to be practical. You know, about 10 years back, there was a talk of banning or closing all the thermal plants in Delhi. All the thermal plants, whether it was the Rajghat, Indraprasth or Badarpur, closed down. Do the situation of air quality increase? No. Because closing is just a signature. You know, you can close it down. How you will stop the 3 crore people of Delhi? So we need regulations. And either everybody is aware, but still last year, you know, when Kejriwal got released from the prison, the same Gopal Rai and his team burst cracker in front of the CM residence. And they made these rules. They could not control themselves, and they say he control it to the public. What I'm saying, whatever will be the decision of Honorable Supreme Court, we will obey that. If they say they don't allow, nobody will be allowed. But if a practical solution has to be found, and there is an established technology by the CSR NERI, which has a less noise and less pollution, why not to implement? Manufacturing is allowed if there is a regulation, if there is established technology, and the sale of these green crackers which are established are regulated.
No, but I'm also wondering whether this is just, but is this just symbolic, sir? You know, Diwali is just a few days away. You know, we don't know whether there is enough time for the Supreme Court to give a ruling, plus the science that you are talking about to be implemented and enforced.
I'm telling you, see, whatever will be the decision, I'm telling in front of your television, whatever will be the decision, 100% that will be implemented.
Okay, but that you have to, it's the Supreme Court. Siddharth, you wanted to come in, go ahead.
Yeah, one good thing, Shiv, that the BJP spokesperson has admitted that the 56-inch Pradhanji is after all on crutches, and the BJP ecosystem concedes that Supreme Court made laws supersede Pradhanji's unilateral 8 p.m. diktats. At least thank God for that. Now, a BJP government that cannot decrease crime rate in Delhi, cannot apprehend criminals, how would it enforce any law when millions of normal citizens would be doing something else is a very, very pertinent point. How come, who is going to enforce it if they are unable to catch criminals, if they are unable to catch pickpocketers, if they are unable to catch gang wars? How are they going to stop people from bursting crackers? That's why I said the BJP will have to come up with some kind, it cannot come up with some kind of lame excuse in front of the Supreme Court. It has to come up with something substantial. But unless it comes with something substantial, it is the weather gods that are blessing us right now in the Delhiites.
Agreed.
Tomorrow morning, if the monsoons retreat, what will happen?
Dr. Gupta, it's a fair question. Even though you are political rivals, and last year even the Aam Aadmi Party government was unable to enforce anything at all, this time it is the BJP in Delhi as well as the centre. So the Aam Aadmi Party government will say that you have no excuse. If the Supreme Court strikes down your plea and says the ban remains in place, how are you going to enforce it? Or is it going to be a repeat of last year where citizens did whatever they want despite the ban?
Before I answer, let me reply to Siddharthji. Why did not they file the case against Gopal Rai and other ministers who burst cracker in front of CM residence? The second question, which he always raises about the net zero. Just go to the statistics, sir. We committed to COP26 the net reduction to 50% by 2047 and net zero by 2070. Just check the records. Already 25% of the power generation in India is through RE. That is the achievement of Modi government. And last thing, what Mr. Shiv had told, let me guarantee you, whatever will be the decision, again I'm telling you, but I'm saying the custom is there, faith is there. We have to balance. This is a request. When Honorable Supreme Court say right to employment is the on the basis of right to employment, they have allowed the manufacturing of these green crackers in Delhi NCR. So we are just requesting them. If they allow, we will follow. Otherwise, we will strictly follow. But we have to balance between the faith and the custom and the employment and all this thing pollution. Also, this year, there has been, you also mentioned in your report, there is a good air quality days. And we need to follow. You must admit that there lot of work has been done by the Rekha Gupta.
Okay.
We have on record how much dust, how much particular matter we have reduced. No doubt there is a grace of the God also, but in future also you will see in the month of October, November, December, there will be reduction in the air pollution.
I'll give the final Siddharth. I'll give you 30 seconds for a rebut. Then I'll give the last word to Vimlendu. Siddharth, enforcement. He says, leave it to us. We will enforce it. Aam Aadmi Party is no one to lecture us on enforcement. Is what the BJP says.
Yeah, there is nothing to rebut here, Shiv. We are all Delhiites. We need to have breathe free, good air. The only question is, there is a huge paradox here when considering Pradhanji has already committed 1 billion tons of carbon emission cut in Glasgow COP summit. How come its own chief minister, and that to a Delhiite is going to the Supreme Court saying that we want banning of the cracker thing. Now the smoke that will come out of it, whether it is green, whether it is red, whether it is brown, whether it is black, it is going to get into the lungs of the people. But again, the point here is that it also is a matter of faith. So how the BJP is going to balance between these two paradoxes? That's why I said one good thing that came out of the BJP spokesperson today, that he admitted that the 56-inch Pradhanji, after all, is on crutches, and the BJP ecosystem concedes that.
Okay. No, I don't want to make this
made laws supersede Pradhanji's unilateral.
I'll tell you how the Aam Nagrik of Delhi NCR has felt over the last few years. I have great respect for everyone. I am not political, but I will say this. The politicians finger point at each other. They bicker between each other. Ultimately, it is the citizen who suffers, because the BJP will point at the Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab. The Aam Aadmi Party will point at the BJP in Delhi. The Aam Aadmi Party will point, while it was in Delhi, at the BJP in the center. And this finger pointing has gone on for all these years, and there is still no solution. I'm hoping that starting this month, it is not going to just be about monsoon, but a genuine, visible reduction in pollution. That is my hope. And it is not even a political hope because the BJP government is in power in Delhi. It is a hope as a citizen. Last word to Vimlendu. Vimlendu, is this kind of balance possible? You know, anti-pollution, faith, sentiment. At one level, this country, you know, runs on sentiment, emotions, faith, not just on law and order.
Yeah, I think, Shiv, conservation and clean air has to be part of our custom and part of our faith. That demand, you know, the tree worship was part of our custom and culture. And it wasn't, and similarly, asking for clean air or asking our children to breathe clean air and to abandon firecrackers and things should also be part of our custom. We have changed. We have let go of sati. We have let go of many things that were regressive. And burning of firecrackers in a toxic city called Delhi is as regressive as some of the systems that we actually followed. But also at the same time, I should tell you that we have faced 10 years of misgovernance when it comes to air pollution, and very rich and convenient on Mr. Sharma's part and you know, therefore right now he's not in power and therefore he can really blame BJP. But I think it's high point that now that BJP is in power in center and in state, and also, you know, in neighboring Uttar Pradesh, where, by the way, the instances of stubble burning have only begun right now in Haryana and Punjab in that sense. So I think it's high time that everyone sits together and finds a solution rather than this tutu meme that we see.
I hope so. I hope there will be a meeting of minds between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. 15 seconds, last 15 seconds, Dr. Sharma.
I request Jha sir, at least to start from his colony where he lives. Just request all the neighbors not to burst the crackers. I think that will be a good initiative.
Vimlendu, I know Vimlendu personally. He has been an evangelist for clean living and anti-pollution for his entire life. He is my college senior. I know how he lives. So trust me, he will do the right thing as far as being a conscientious citizen is concerned. I'm out of time, but thank you. The power resides with you, Dr. Gupta. Ultimately, BJP in power in Delhi and the center. Now the buck stops with you. The clock is ticking. Citizens are watching. All the best for October to February. We'll be watching. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on debate number 2 here on India Matters. The festive season brings pollution. What could be a bigger irony for us here in India and those of us who live in the Delhi NCR? For many years now, the festive season means falling sick, getting a viral, not being able to go out too late at night, crippling fog on highways, vehicular traffic, accidents, pile-ups, and all the rest of it. The first chance that anyone has to get out of the Delhi NCR during this time, and people usually grab it with both hands. That is a sad reality, but like I said to our guest tonight, the clock is ticking. Crop burning is still taking place in Punjab and Haryana. Those numbers are there, and NDTV will be tracking all aspects of it very closely. Thanks for watching. The buck stops here with Padmaja Joshi is next.
वॉल्यूम कम करेंगे? आपका पार्सल फिर से हमारे घर पे आया है।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
माँ भी हमेशा पीमाक मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी, ये आपके लिए।
मैंने कहा था कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933.
In Bihar, bahut politics hai. The year's election super final. Can Jai Viru storm the palace? Or will Bihar double engine defend? Fierce fight, electric election. Biggest team, biggest coverage. Battleground Bihar on NDTV 24/7.
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
And NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है NDTV के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
A.R. रहमान।
सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
हेलो बोलिए मैडम, डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा।
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है।
मैडम एक बार को खौफ किस लिए रखना चाहिए तो बताओ, कौन सा गलत काम कर रहा हूँ मैं?
After our report, we also saw NSE came out with a cautionary circular to the investors. Market Regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has also come out with a release talking about the actions that it has taken. Cyber complaint has also been filed against the entities involved in this entire Dabba trading scam.
What does the youth of Bihar want in this election? I will dissect and explain.
When it comes to elections, I crunch numbers and tell you what others miss.
Bihar elections, the what, why and how.
I read Bihar politics like no one else.
For over 4 decades now, I have had a ringside
showcasing the NDTV 24/7 prime time, presented by Schneider Electric, Smart Home Solutions as studio partner.
Good evening and welcome. Thanks for tuning in to NDTV 24/7. I'm Padmaja Joshi, and on every story that matters, the buck stops here. In a country as diverse and complex as India, even the walls of the Supreme Court are not immune to the intense churn that is constantly taking place in our country, a churn of faith, identity, politics. What unfolded inside the courtroom of the Apex Court yesterday wasn't just unexpected, it has sparked a national debate around issues of identity, religious sensitivities, and of course, politics. Rakesh Kishore is not a name that too many people would have heard before yesterday. But what this Delhi-based advocate has done has now not only landed him in a soup, but has also kicked off a debate about caste, hurt religious feelings, and the state of India itself. Because yesterday, this 71-year-old lawyer hurled a shoe at the Chief Justice of India, B.R. Gavai, during a hearing inside the Supreme Court. He said the reason for this was that he was unhappy with the CJI's remarks during a recent hearing of a plea seeking the restoration of a Lord Vishnu idol in the Khajuraho temple complex in Madhya Pradesh. During this hearing that took place on the 16th of September, the Chief Justice had dismissed the plea and remarked, "Why don't you ask your deity?" to a plea about restoration of the idol, even though later the CJI said that he had been misquoted and what he had said had been twisted out of shape on social media. Anyway, Rakesh Kishore was not impressed. He decided to fling his shoe at the Chief Justice. He was then taken in for questioning by the security unit of the Delhi police, but was let go after 3 hours. This is because the Chief Justice himself said that such people do not deserve any attention. The Apex Court's Registrar General refused to press any charges against him. Now, this man says he has no remorse for what he did, and in fact, he was only dictated by Paramatma or God himself.
ये मैंने कहीं कुछ भी नहीं किया, परमात्मा की जैसी मर्जी वैसा हुआ। मैंने अपने आप से कुछ नहीं किया, मैं करता नहीं हूँ। मैं इस बात को जानता हूँ कि मैं केवल साक्षी हूँ। मैंने कोई, आप जो कह रहे हैं ये सब बात सच्चाई नहीं है और मुझे कहीं कोई खेद नहीं है किसी भी चीज़ का। मैं फिर आपसे कह रहा हूँ, मैंने कुछ भी नहीं किया है। मेरी बात पूरी होने दो। मैंने कुछ नहीं किया है। जो परमात्मा का जिस मूर्ति के सामने उन्होंने कहा था कि आप प्रेयर कीजिए, उसी परमात्मा का मुझे आदेश था, उसी आदेश के अनुसार एक्शन का रिएक्शन हुआ है और कुछ नहीं है इसमें। हाँ, लेकिन 16 सितंबर को जब चीफ जस्टिस गवई की अदालत में एक PIL लगी तो वो मेरी दायर की हुई नहीं थी, किसी और ने दायर की थी, मुझे उसका नाम भी नहीं पता। उन्होंने PIL दायर की थी कि भाई खजुराहो MP में